Like even my mom, my mom's the sweetest lady on the planet. You're all good. You're good. And sometimes things would frustrate me about my mom, but also knowing that she's the nicest lady in the whole world. And when I realized she was an Enneagram 9 and I learned what all that entails and the, ins and outs of all of it, it lets me handle her with a lot more consideration than before, where it would be like, oh, mom, why don't you just XYZ? And I shouldn't treat her that way. She's my mom. I adore her. But it's like, okay, she doesn't want to be put on the spot for these reasons. And I need to give her time. I need to tell my dad, hold on a minute. This is mom's turn to talk. Like, give her space or she won't do it, and on and on and on. So it's just helped me understand people better. It's helped me relate to people better. It helps me not misinterpret the way people do things like I would have before I knew about the Enneagram, where I might think they would do it like I would do it, whatever the situation is. But no, they won't. They're going to do it a completely different way because they're coming at it from a completely different point of view. And it's just helped me in my work, in my relationships, with my family, with my husband. Like, we fight a lot fairer. I mean, all couples fight, but we fight a lot more fairly, at least try to, because I understand his number and how it affects his view of things. And that makes things a lot smoother when it's time to disagree about something. So there you go.
I was muted. Sorry. What is your number, Katie?
I'm a 2.
You are a 2.
So I need all of you to like me and accept me when this is done and say lots of nice things to me. Thanks.
Yeah. So would you say in traffic, you would say, OMG, I should get over OMG, but I'll let them go. I mean, what can I say? I'm a nice person, okay?
I mean, to some degree, it's like I definitely am in like the zipper method. Like, I need to let at least one person in. It doesn't mean I'm going to let all of them in, but I'm certainly not going to be like out of my way or I will hit you. Like that wouldn't be for me. So.
And then what was the moment that made you go, yes, I'm absolutely a 2? Like, was there like a thing you read that you were like, oh no, I'm exposed?
That's interesting. I don't know. I think I struggled with what number I was for a little bit, because as people get more into the Enneagram, you'll learn that you have a number that is your basis starting point, but then you can look different ways and pick up some traits from other numbers depending on how healthy or stressed you are, depending on like kind of which part of your personality you're kind of pulling down on to give you more of what you need in a certain moment. And so some, like when I just took the test you sent us in the email, 3 was my highest. I'm not a 3. Like I have a strong 3 wing. I'm not a 3. And it just comes out in different kinds of ways. So I don't know if I had one defining moment, but reading The Road Back to You, the book that we recommended to everybody, that definitely helped me. Those lists of 20 that are at the beginning of each number, that's my go-to point for anyone who's spent like 5 to 10 minutes with me on Enneagram. I brought it to SFR last year and our house had 11 people in it, and we just sat at the table and I was like, let's go. Let's do this. Go ahead and count how many of these are true for you. And they'd be like, I don't know, like 17. I'm like, okay, well, that's probably a good starting point for you then. So
love it.
Yep. And I just ordered that Enneagram book that you're looking at right now. It comes on
not bad work, but it's very sad.
I don't know if I need it to like teach me the ways. Melissa's got it too.
Because Anna got me.
I bought it because they had it on their call, and I was like, well, I obviously need to do that.
It's really funny. It really is. It's if you want something that's if you have a total ADHD brain and you need something that's going to keep your attention and keep you entertained and you don't mind a little bit of bad language, Millenniagram is great for sure.
Yeah, I picked it
up. That was what
sold
me. I'm like, ooh, a little sassy, a little bit. Okay, I'm into it.
There's a lot of resources out there for Enneagram for just a broad spectrum of personalities. So a lot of times what you'll find are kind of religious ones, but then you'll also find people who've taken it and put it into a more neutral ground, just for anyone who wants to use it in other areas of their life as well. So you'll filter through the different resources and then find the one that speaks to you the most. Melissa or Anna, which one wants to go next? Melissa was about to speak, so I'm putting you on the spot.
She can go next, but I'm just going to tell you, I flipped through this book so much, pages are falling out of it. Like, and the only thing I'm mad about with this particular book is that my chapter for my number isn't longer from this author, because this is outstanding. And Anna's the one that told me about this book, and this was great. But no, Anna can go next because I'm the lowest man on the totem pole when it comes to Enneagram.
All right, Anna, you're up.
How dare you? You are not.
I will say that I didn't start with Millenniagram. I started with Road Back to You, just like you did. And it was actually introduced to me at a leadership retreat that I went to with my upline. My upline is Allison Dalkey, and she had a retreat and gifted us all this book. And we sat around and we figured out what our number was. And I was so convinced that I was a 3, because a lot of people in this business are convinced that they're 3s because they're go-getters and they have big goals and they have big dreams and they go out and they do the things and they feel very fulfilled by that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's your number. And so it's very easy to say, oh, that fits. That's it. That's me. But there are things that we can do to kind of narrow that down. And a lot of that is really related to what you're afraid of, not necessarily what drives you. So that book is really great. And I loved that book. And like Katie said, it's really helped me become more of a people handler, as far as, like, she's mentioned that she's a 2. My mom is also a 2, and I know how to handle my mom with care. For example, if she gives me something or she does something for me, I go out of my way to make sure she knows she's appreciated, because the last thing you want to do with my mom is make her feel like she's taken for granted or unloved. And so it's really helped me nurture a lot of my relationships to make them better. But it's also been really, really great for me personally to understand why I do the shit that I do. And it's really like, the things that I do are really annoying sometimes, but understanding where I'm coming from and why I do them has been a really big thing. I guess we'll get to that in a minute, because Melissa and I have a really good example of that in real time. And I think that sometimes having those real life examples on how you're able to use this for understanding what you're doing, what your partner is doing, what your downline leader is doing, what your spouse is doing, what your coworkers are doing, what your BFF is doing, what a parent is doing, isn't because they're a bad person. It's just because their reality and what drives them is different than what drives you and your priorities. And so it's a really, really cool tool. And I'm still terrified of 8s. They scare me. They're going to hurt my feelings because I'm a 4 and my feelings get hurt very easily. And I just want to know I'm significant all the time. So just tell me that you love me and I'm important to you. I'm good.
We have our own resident 4. She's not here though. It's Lacey Hoseman. And then Kelly is a 4 too, which Kelly's new to my Enneagram sphere. I need to get to know you more, Kelly. But Lacey was very offended when she found out she was a 4, because then she felt like she wasn't special anymore because she was able to be categorized, and she did not appreciate it.
She's a 10. She said
So she tells everyone she's a 10.
And I was like, oh, that's so cute. That's not how that works though. So
But I don't think that, so that's the thing. So Christina's the first person that introduced me to Enneagram, and I was completely resistant. I literally rolled my eyes at her and Aaron Shiflett when we were sitting at a table together a couple camps ago. And Christina and Aaron were completely engaged in an Enneagram conversation. And I literally was rolling my eyes so far in the back of my head that I just was not open to it. I was very closed-minded. I felt very much and I've now seen this in others that are resistant to putting themselves in a box, that I very much was from that mindset of, you can't categorize me. Like, I'm just me, but you can't put, and the crazy part is I don't even know when that changed for me, except for Christina's the first one that introduced it to me. And then Anna is really big into Enneagram also. And so then in conjunction with the 2 of them, I don't even know what it was that made me finally just be like, okay, fine, I'll take it.
It was the book. It was that part at the airport thing is what sold you. It was the airport.
And it was because, I guess it was because I think Anna had read to me my number out of this book that says, this is how my number would travel by airplane. Getting beers with my new friend I met in line at security. I complimented them on their sweet kicks, and here we go, kicking it like besties. Gonna vacation in Cabo together next spring, except not because I'll forget about it. That is so me. Like okay, so when Christina asked Katie, like, what was it that you knew that you were that number? From the very first word I've read about my number, I am that number. I can't even try to not be that number. I'm so that number. So I'm a 7. And I know Annette Harling is on here and she's a resident 7 as well. But everything I read about a 7, and Anna has always said this to me, that, and I think Katie and Christina have even said it too, but when you are reading about the Enneagram, and you start getting uncomfortable, like the book is talking directly at you, that's how you know your number. Because I started to feel personally like attacked, but then at the same time felt like I now had a reason for why I'm the way that I am. Where I always used to be like, I'm just different because, because of this, or I'm just, I don't know, I'm just weird because of this. And it's not, it's just my personality type. And so the moment that I can't read enough about my personality type because I'm so enthralled with the fact that I cannot believe how dead on it is. And so, all of that to say, so I was resistant. And then Anna read me the travel thing about my number. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. And I mean, I don't know a stranger. I meet people every single place I go, and they are my best friends, like, but not real best friends. Like they're just my, like my best friend in the line at the grocery store for that day. But I don't know any strangers. And so then when I started reading more about my personality type, and then I started getting kind of uncomfortable about it. And then I actually was like, okay, there's justification for why I am the way that I am. I feel better about myself. This is fascinating. This is interesting. I surrender. Anna and Christina, you win. I am now an Enneagram dork, to the point that not only do I have the book that Anna recommended, plus I have Anna's copy of Road Back to You that I borrowed from her, stole. And then because of them, I became an Enneagram nerd that now also has these books on my nightstand because I'm
That's
like,
the path between us, the green one.
yep.
That's the relationship one for how the numbers interact with each other.
No.
It's
Journey
not?
Toward Wholeness.
Oh, that one's a newer one. That one's a newer
Journey Toward
one.
Wholeness. Take care of your type. The Enneagram and You. Enneagram Empowerment. The Guide to Waking Up. Like, I can't read enough about my own number, but then once I learn the people that I'm close with, their numbers, then I want to read all about them. And so, it would now be the right time to share like an example, or do you want to wait, Anna, to give that example?
Wait, can I just really quickly? So the Road Back to You is so funny because it doesn't go 1 through 9. It doesn't start at 1 and go to 9. It starts at 8 because they said 8 isn't going to hang around to listen to everyone else's number. They want to know their number and they want to know about their number. Then maybe they'll hang around and listen to everybody else's. And the 7 is at the end because everybody's your new best friend and you just want to read about all of it and you got to know everybody's everything. And that's why 7's at the end of the book. And so I thought that was so funny.
It's also interesting because all of the books don't go in order.
Yeah, this one's
every book that I have, they don't go 1 through 9. It jumps around and so
that's funny.
Anyway, but
I was gonna go really quickly just because I think it was cool. Actually, I didn't even realize it at the time, but we have 4 different numbers hosting right now because you've got Katie as a 2 and Anna as a 4, Melissa 7, and then I'm a 9, which I think we have a lot of 9s in here. And I was just gonna quickly say the Enneagram made sense to me because I was going through a really hard time when I found the Enneagram. I had a friend that just kept sharing, if you're a 2, if you're a 2, if you're a 2, and she just was always doing this. I was like, what are you talking about? And she tried to tell me, and then she goes, oh, and you're totally a 5 or a 4. I have already figured you out. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, no one's allowed to do that. So I'm going to go figure myself out. And, but then I went through all the testing. I tested as literally everything depending on the mood that I took the test in. Or
And that's how you knew you were 9.
based
Like,
on
that's
the
it right
answer
there.
I thought that the test wanted me to pick. And so just trying to please the test and then realizing that I was absolutely textbook 9. So, and then I'm very solid both wings, very solid. I grew up very much wanting to be right and good all of the time. But if you poke me, I will lose my ever loving mind. And I will stand up for myself if I have to. And it scares people when I do that on accident because they're not used to that coming out of me. If anyone has ever seen my 8 come out, you're like, well, that was kind of scary. And I don't think I like you anymore, which then puts me right back into my 9 of fear of losing you. So I will go back to my 9 every time. So that's me. I'm a 9. So if anybody else is a 9, we can chat. But I go to a 3 in health, which is the high achieving, I can do everything. And then 6, the worst parts of a 6 in badness, where I'm very high anxiety and fearful. So there you go.
Yep.
But Melissa, I love your example that you guys shared. If you guys want to share, or you and Anna, one of you guys want to share that.
Sure.
And before Anna shares the story, because she tells it better, I wanted to say, I think the test is like a great suggestion, but realistically, it isn't until you read about each of the a little bit about each of the numbers, because you will very quickly be able to find like, this is not me. And I mean, this is definitely not me. This is definitely not me. Okay, these 3, let me dig into these 3 and see which one of these is me, because that's just it. You take the test, and depending on how you feel that day, or depending on how, I mean, even when I've not tested my own number, and I know I am a 7. There's no way around it. And so, so you really do have to read a little bit about, and I think that's why Katie recommending like those 20 questions for each number in this book, really, and they're good questions. They're not even like they're good ones that do make you have to think past just like a yes or no, like they're good ones.
Each chapter has a list of 20 like statements that you might relate to if you're that number. And if you get a hold of this list, or if you like message me, I'll send you a picture. If you're like, it says I'm a 3 and it says I'm an 8 and I don't know what that means. And I'll be like, well, that makes sense. But that's because I've read a million things. So I understand why it thinks you're both of those numbers. Look at both of these lists, see which one you relate to the most. And I am not a yes to everything on that 2 list. There are things I'm definitely that I don't even, that I look at that and go, who even is like that? I am not the 2s that I know, but a lot of it, yes, and more so than any of the other lists. So that did help me narrow it down. And to go along with what Christina said, I look like an 8 when I'm stressed. So while I'm usually like super easygoing and able to get along with people and friendly, once I'm stressed, I am the worst parts of an 8, which is things are going to start getting slammed. Like, why didn't anybody do this but me? Like, ridiculous, full on child tantrum, like not the good parts of 8. So don't think that 8s just go around in life like that. But that part where they can be challenging and like say exactly how they feel when they feel it, I do that in the worst ways possible when I'm stressed. But when I'm healthy, I can look like a 4, like Anna. So I like when we were at camp, I felt like I was my best 4 self, like the best like bit of 4 that I draw down, where I was whoever I wanted to be. I didn't care what anybody else thought about it, and I was just happy to be creative and silly and one of a kind, and I didn't worry what anyone else was thinking about me in that time and in that place. And that can't happen all the time, but when I'm my best self, it can. So that's why I know at my core I'm a 2. But if I took the test in a time when I'm really, really healthy, I might pull on more of those 4 numbers and be like, oh, I'm actually getting a kind of a lot of 4 on this. Or if I'm feeling really stressed, I might look more like an 8 and I might see some of those numbers in my results. So don't just take a test one time and be like, well, it said I'm a 3. I guess I'm a 3. Like, definitely read more about all the numbers, whatever source you want to use. Even just go on Instagram and just search Enneagram. You'll find a million of them. Some of them I super relate to. Some of them I'm like, oh, okay, that's somebody's idea, but it's not for me. And that'll start to maybe help things fall into place a little bit more as well. So.
Yeah. And then
I think it might be helpful. Sorry to interrupt you.
oh, you're good.
It might be helpful because I know when I was first like getting introduced to this, it might be helpful for those that are not like this is foreign, to maybe just give like here's what the 1 is, here's what the 2 is, but just like the summary, because when you're talking numbers at people that are not into Enneagram, the numbers don't mean anything to them. So I don't know. I mean, Katie, you probably can do it really quickly off the top of your head, like what each number is, or I have the table of contents pulled, open in the road back to you, but just to give like what is each one, just so people have a foundation.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it would be helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So, and don't take any offense to any of these names. They are like the smallest snapshot nickname. And honestly, if you are a bit offended by them, it might mean that that's your number, because when we see the worst parts of the number, like there's good and bad to every number. So don't be like, oh, I'm a 6. That's awful. Like, nope, that's not how that works. Like every number is good. Every number has good and bad. So 1 is considered the perfectionist. They are very concerned with being good, being moral, being thought of as a good person and doing what is right. A lot of the ones I know are super punctual, like they keep everybody together because that's what you're supposed to do. 2 is the helper. We really want to be appreciated. Relationships are very important to us. And often we neglect our own thoughts and feelings about things because we're so outward focused on everybody else and what they need that sometimes we don't even know what we need because we're so concerned with making sure our connections and relationships are strong. And we're worried about being rejected and not appreciated. 3 is the achiever. They are the go-getter. They're going to climb the corporate ladder in whatever way that looks for them. They are going to be the best mom, the best worker, the best spouse, the best whatever. And they aren't going to let anything stand in their way. And they are afraid of failure and people seeing them for who they really are. They think they can't really be their true self because they're so busy trying to perform. They're the achiever and the performer. 4 is the individualist. They love being unique and different from everyone else, and they hate being unique and different from everyone else. So they feel like they don't fit in anywhere sometimes. They feel like they also don't want to fit in and look like anyone else. A lot of the very most like artsy fartsy people in your life, you're going to think they're a 4, and they might be or they might not be, but they're very creative. They are one of a kind, and they are great thinkers, and they are scared of being the same as everyone else or of people like not, they want to be unique, but they don't. So it's this kind of seesaw that they ride all the time. 5 is the investigator. The 5 is like a human brain. So my husband's a 5, could not be more different than a 2, as of course, why wouldn't we end up together? So a 5 thinks everything through. They want to study everything. They start every day with the smallest energy meter of everyone in the entire Enneagram. And it just and like they get this finite amount of energy every day, no matter what is expected of them. So if they have a lot of things they have to do, they're going to burn out really fast, and they need to be by themselves to recharge. It doesn't necessarily mean they're an introvert, but like you're going to find way more introverted 5s than not. And they are absolutely, their core fear is being seen as incompetent, that they don't know something. They don't want to go into a strange situation and not know everything there is to know about that situation. The 6 is the loyalist. They're going to be like the best friend you've ever had. They are your ride or die no matter what, but they live life with just a ball of anxiety inside them all the time. They go into like a restaurant, and like when you're there for 5 minutes, you can be like, hey, where's the nearest emergency exit? And they're like, there's one there and there and there. If there's an active shooter, I'm under the table over here. We're going to turn inside. Like they have a plan for every emergency there could be in life because they are worried about safety and security. So they want to feel safe. 7 is the enthusiast. That's Melissa. So the enthusiast is just excited about life. They are chasing the next fun, amazing, exciting thing all the time. But the counterpart of that is when they're in something fun and exciting, they can't fully enjoy it because they're so much looking forward to like the next fun thing that's coming. And they are scared of dealing with things that are painful or boring or feeling held back, like being confined, that they don't have the freedom to just go and do. So if you want to make plans with a 7, they're probably going to give you like a lot of maybes because they need to make sure that they don't say yes to you and then miss out on that really amazing thing that they get invited to the next day. The 8 is the challenger. they are not afraid of a fight. They might even intentionally pick a fight because they kind of want to see what you're made of, and they can hold their own in that setting. They also love honesty. So your 8 friends, yes, a lot of people are like, 8 scare me, right? That was what Anna said. But the 8 is also like, if they say, does this outfit make me look fat? You best tell them if that outfit makes them look fat, because they want to know that. They are asking you, and they don't want your fluff and your nonsense. So they are scared of being controlled. They maybe felt out of control at some point in their life, and they realized they have to be in control and not controlled by somebody else. So they often are leaders in jobs like the 3, but for 2 totally different reasons. And then the 9 is the peacekeeper. The 9 wants, above all, for everything to be peaceful, for people to get along, for there not to be conflict. They are going to do that through a lot of different ways, but they are usually going to be somewhat people pleasers, like a 2. So if you're seeing like 2 and 9 on your test, I want to get along with people so that I don't feel like I'm broken in my relationship with them. And 9s want to like get along with people and people please because they don't want to have the conflict. So they sit at the top of the little diagram. So there's like a little circle diagram with all these lines on the Enneagram, and they all mean something. And the 9 sits at the top because they can see everyone else's perspective around the whole Enneagram better than any other number. So I go to my mom, the 9, when I need to talk through something, because she goes, well, if this happens, this person's going to feel this way. And if this happens, this person's going to feel this way. She sees all of that. And so 9s are perpetually exhausted because they've lived every other number all the time. Yep. And they can't make quick decisions because of it. So that's like your overview. And if any of those like strongly jump out at you, that would be a starting place to start reading and learning about them.
I think that was extremely helpful. Thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome.
That was awesome. So do you want to give an example? Because I think prefacing it is, it's not just important. And I know Katie said this, and I mean, we all will say this. It's not just important to find out your own number, but those that are close to you, those that you surround yourself with regularly, learning about him for the exact reason that Katie said, like her and her husband and her understanding his number, it helped them argue more evenly. And it can allow you to provide a little bit more grace, like in the situation with mom. And but so it isn't just about your understanding your own personality and why you do the things that you do, but then also understanding those around you. And so this could have gone a very different way, right, Anna? Except for now that you and I understand Enneagram, take it away.
So Melissa and I, when we were on the leadership cruise, I was sick. Oh, I was sick. I was sick as a dog. I was so seasick. I couldn't see straight. I was to the point where I asked Melissa if she thought maybe they would airlift me off of the ship because I was so sick. And she was like, I don't think they airlift the dead off of here. So one day I was like, I'm just going to sleep until we get to LA. And so I'm laying in bed and I'm just trying to sleep through as much of it as I can because I just felt so crummy. And hours went by and I was like, where's Melissa? She hasn't even come to check on me. Do I even matter at all to her? You know? And finally she texts me. She's like, oh, you're up. You want some food? And I'm like, I mean, maybe. And so brings me some food and she's just standing there watching me eat. And you could tell it's just killing her. She's just standing there. Like I could tell all she wanted was to go and be where the action was and learn from the people and soak up every experience that she could. But she also, I knew she was conflicted because she also didn't want to like necessarily bail on me. So as a 4, understanding that I am the way that I am, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this way because I need to feel significant. And she's acting the way that she is because she needs to go out and do the things. And so it was a really eye-opening experience to just know that it wasn't because she didn't care about me, that she's so itching to get out of here and go do the things. And it wasn't, it was really a moment of self-reflection for sure. So now if I didn't know those things, if I didn't understand why I feel the way that I do or why she's behaving the way that she does. And it could be a point of conflict, right? Where you could get mad at your partner and be like, why don't even matter to you? Like, here you are off just having a good old time while I'm sick as a dog and you don't even care. You barely even check on me. But that wasn't the situation because I have this mutual understanding of her and who she is and what she needs and why I'm behaving the way that I am. Maybe I'm not in my best place because a 4 who's not in a good place is going to act like the worst parts of it too, which is a stage 5 clinger. And so I definitely go that direction. And so, like Katie was saying, it's also not just about your number and your everyday typical behavior. It's why you're answering the way that you do. So if you, like she mentioned that if you get an 8 and a 3 and you've got similar scores on that, the question becomes, why do you say yes to that question, right? A 3 is going to say yes to that question because they're driven by the need to succeed for respect. An 8 is going to say yes to that question about being achieving because they won't be controlled by anybody else and they can achieve and they want to prove themselves. They're very different things. Is what is the driver in that yes also. So I just wanted to throw that little thing in there. But it was funny because Melissa came back to the room later and I kind of explained the feelings that I was having and how I kind of walked through that by myself without her. And she was like, wow, like you're so right. I was itching to get back and I was conflicted and feeling like, man, I really should be here with her, but I also want to be there, So it was a really telling moment of understanding that the Enneagram can be really used for really cool things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And similarly, like I had said, my husband and I are very opposite because 2s are super, super emotion driven and 5s are like, what's an emotion? That's not a thing that I have. And it's not just because he's a man, like that's his number. But the thing I said about us fighting is that 2s need to verbally process almost everything. Like I need to say either like texting or out loud, I need to say every word about it that I've ever thought. And he needs time and space before he's ready to talk about any thought or feeling that he has. So I can either get my way in our argument and just have it out and say all the words, and then he's going to respond in stress and it's not going to go well for us. And like we're going to end up like actually fighting. Or I can go, I really want to talk about this right now, but he needs some time. And I'm going to like this a lot better if I go pout off by myself for a minute or just go whatever, distract myself, get away from this conversation for the time so he can think through all those thoughts that he has. Then he'll come back to me and tell me what he's thinking or feeling. And we will have an argument, discussion, whatever it is, that is less frustrating for both of us as a result. Whereas before I would have been like, no, we have to talk about this now. Like, I need to know we're okay. I can't go to sleep if I think you're mad at me. So I gotta know you're not mad at me. So sometimes we will still be in that argument and he'll go, I'm not mad at you. Take a minute. I need a minute. And I'm like, okay. And I like go button up and let him do it. And if I didn't know about the Enneagram, I'd be like, no, like we have to talk. Are we okay? Stage 5 clinger. I need to know we're all right. It has to be okay. And it's like, nope, that just makes him feel stressed and pressured in a way that he cannot do. So
Exactly. And Melissa as a 7 does not do negative emotions. So if I want to sit in my melancholy, because 4s do love sad songs and sad movies and Rain on the Roof and like all of those things. But as a 7, they're so positive and they're so high energy. And so if I sit in that for too long, that's not fun for her. Like feeling the emotions and doing the uncomfortable work of negativity is really hard for her. And so knowing those things, we can accommodate our partners better.
Well, and because my theme song as a 7 is I want to be where the people are. And so it is a struggle. And because I do have a very hard time dealing with negativity, I tend to keep myself very busy and keep my mind very busy so that I keep that as pushed away as possible. And the hard part, and this happens when it happens, it's like a complete mental breakdown when I have a set of negative moments, or I deal with some really hard things that I can't scapegoat my way out of. It's so extremely uncomfortable for me that I shut down. And I like I shut down, and I don't know how to release it, and I don't know how to deal with it because I don't deal with it typically. That's my personality type is everything will be fine, everything will work out, and the sun's going to come up tomorrow, and everything's going to be just great. And what's the next thing that we are doing? And, I just keep myself always in forward motion. And so, but I always used to think that that was just a culmination of flaws that I had, and that it was just this compounded personality deficit that I had, and I was just weird, and I was an outlier, and I was an outcast, and I'm in why this was a question that literally kept me up at night, as I would say, why am I so good at making friends, but I'm so bad at friendship maintenance? Like and it's because I'm always meeting new people that literally, and I don't say this from like a conceited point of view, I say this from a very difficult point of view as a 7. I make friends everywhere that I can't possibly maintain the friendships of all of those. And it's hard because for me, my personality is, we've met, we're cool, you're my friend, you're my friend. Doesn't matter if we talk tomorrow, next week, next year, next month, we will pick right back up where we left off. You're my friend. But the problem is I've lost a lot of friendships over the years because people say to me, dude, you like went super hard in the beginning. And, I feel like we were really building a friendship. And then it's like, you ghost me. And to me, I'm like, I'm not ghost. I didn't ghost you. I'm right where you left me. And we're still friends. We're still cool. Like you're still in my circle. Like we're cool. And that was a huge learning curve for me, where I had to realize and start taking into account people's feelings and how I was making them feel. Because I do go really hard to establish relationships in the beginning. And then once it's established, I'm like, okay, we're cool. We're cool. Now I've got room to be, meet the mailman and be his bestie because I see him every single day. You know what I mean? Like it's just for a very long time, it kept me up at night that I was like, I'm a bad friend. I'm a bad person. I make people feel special, then I ghost them. And like, and that wasn't what I was doing. It wasn't what I was doing. It wasn't what I was doing intentionally. It still isn't what I do. It's just, I don't know any strangers. And so everybody's a friend to me, and everybody is worth being a friend to me. And it's just hard because I make my circle so big that I can't possibly even maintain it.
And if people understand the Enneagram and they become friends with you, they can understand that about you, and they're not going to judge it as, this person doesn't even care about me. She's not even trying to invest in this friendship. They're going to just know that this is where a friendship with a 7 can look like this is how it can be, and that's okay. And they aren't going to think, like as a 2, I might be like, but they don't like me because they're not just flocking to my inbox every 5 seconds. Like, no, like that's not how other people's, brains work. So it allows you to understand people and give them a little more grace in friendship, in business, in family, in relationships.
It really does.
2 years that I was at camp with Melissa, and before we kind of realized 7, 9, my biggest fear is loss and separation, and like losing people that I felt like were like important to me. And so I feel like I would like annoy her all the time with like being super insecure about like whether or not we were cool. And like, she's like, Christina, I literally love you. Like, you are not going to be able to get rid of me. And like, that was like, honestly, all I had to know. And then like learning more about her being a 7 and learning more about how 7s relate. I'm like, okay, Melissa likes me. It's fine. I can stop being so ridiculous about it. But that's just like,
it's just cool though that we are,
I have to fix this. I have to fix this.
Like, I almost want to say like, how cool an adult of us to be, to be willing to learn about each other's personalities and so that we can give grace and we have better understanding, and that it can avoid nasty fights and conflict based on emotion and feeling, when you're able to step back and be like, I was feeling this way because this is who I am, and you were feeling this way because this is who you are, and how to come together and play into, like, because in the scenario that Anna told you about, like in that story, I wouldn't have left the room without her permission. And I would have felt guilty. I would have felt guilty if I left without permission, and I would have left. So, but then I would have been sitting there, and this is no offense, but I would have been sitting there, and literally I wouldn't have been my best self, because I would have been sitting there thinking, I am missing the collaboration that's happening in the Sky deck on 15, where people are all sitting around with Dan Orchard having a conversation, and I'm missing it, And so,
and that's
And
why
you would have
I
been
said,
bitter.
I said,
You would have been
you
mad at
gotta
Anna.
go. Yep. I said, go. Because I knew I know her enough that, it's not about me, it's about her. So I could say, go, it's fine.
Yeah, and later you would have been mad at Anna, like, I know I was supposed to be there with her. I know I was supposed to be there for her, blah, 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 but I missed out and it's her fault, but not really. Like it would have been all these conflicting feelings too, if it hadn't been an understanding of each of you knowing the number of the other person and being
it's
able
just,
to.
it's these kinds of real world examples and these kinds of stories and this kind of understanding where I'm like, this Enneagram thing has really changed a lot of things for me. It's changed my own outlook and perspective on myself. It has helped me understand what makes others tick around me. It's just made me feel more mature and more adult, because I'm able to understand people better, and I'm able to understand myself better.
For example, my little sister is and I know she'll never watch this back, so I'm just going to speak freely. She is a very unhealthy 6. Like very unhealthy 6. And God bless her, there are a lot of really great things about her. I know that even if I was wrong, she would go to bat for me and fight whoever needed to be fought, just because she's so loyal to me, which is great. However, she drives my family absolutely bonkers with her fear of everything. Her fear of someone taking her kid out of the front yard, or her kid eating dirt, or we can't possibly go do those tide pools because you'll get washed away by the ocean, and the ceiling is going to cave in, and he's 7 years old and he's still using a regular car seat because I can't put him in a booster seat yet, because you never know, probably safer in this. And it's absolutely everything every time. And we just went on a little spring break vacation, and it's hand sanitizer every 30 seconds. And as much as I know that my mom is like losing her ever loving mind over it, I also know that she's coming from a place of it's not I understand her, right? And so she and I have a different kind of connection, because I know what she needs is for someone to reassure her that it's going to be okay. And that, I hear your fears, but it's going to be okay. And as long as I can continue to give her that reassurance and still hear her fears, then she is a lot more receptive to that, rather than other people telling her, you're crazy, stop worrying about that, that's insane. So
She can't stop. So
she would love to turn that off, but she just can't. So whether it's your family member, it's your team member who, God forbid, I'm right now I'm planning a leadership retreat for my downline. And I'm planning it with one of my other SSDs. She's my downline SSD. And I have a very hard time giving up, with my 3-wing, have a very hard time giving up a lot of these tasks, because I want to do them the way that I want to do them. And maybe that's me going to a 1 in perfectionism and all of that. But I also know that because she's a 2, if I don't let her help, that is a huge slight to her. She has to be able to help. I have to let her help as a leader. So there's so many different ways that you can use this to foster the relationships that you have in your circle, whether it's truly interpersonally or it's business or whatever. But knowing what other people need and what drives them, you're going to help them be the best version of themselves too.
And I think that
Can I add something about a common misconception that I know some people have? A lot of people, because you relate to lots of different numbers when you do the test, or they're all over the place, you your number is your number, and then the two numbers that are on either side of your number are called wings, and you can kind of draw from either of those at different points and moments in your life. It doesn't have to do really with how stressed or how healthy you are. You might have one wing that's really strong. Like I do have some of both. I am like a rule follower, like a 1. I, want to be like on time and do things the way people expect me to and fulfill my obligations. Like that's part of like a 1. But as a 3, I'm also like gonna get sensational, start level 3 or die trying, because that is a strong wing for me. But your wings can only be the numbers that are on either side of you. So I see on Facebook and on random posts, everyone's like, I'm a 4 wing 9. That's so cute. No, you're not, but that's okay that you think that, and you can figure that out. So your number and the two numbers on either side can be your wing that you like more strongly identify with. But as we said earlier, you can draw from other numbers based on how stressed or healthy you are. So there is still a connection to those numbers. They just aren't like your wings. So you're not, like a 1 and a 6. Like you're maybe one of those two, but some of them can look the same for different motivations and reasons as well. So that's something to know kind of going into it, especially if you're just getting started.
I am going to wrap us up just because we're heading into the 10 p.m. business. And I do want to do trivia for anyone who's willing to stick around. It takes about 10-ish minutes. But just to close, I think it's just really, if you're still kind of confused about this, I am throwing Katie not under the bus, but as the driver of the bus.
Yay!
She truly loves this, and so do I. And any of the threads about Enneagram that we've posted in the group this week, find one, ask some questions, and one of us will be happy to help give you some direction. And then I hope that a lot of you understand the value of what this is, and what we're really trying to help you see is just the ability for you to relate to not only your teammates, but your family, your friends, other people in Sensi. But for me, it was really, really helpful in identifying how I should relate to some of my teammates. And I feel like it made me a better leader when I could lead them and not just lead from my own point of view, but I can like lead them where they're at and in areas that they need. Just makes you just a better leader. Overall, it really does. So if you can, some of you were asking about the test. If you have the time, I don't ever recommend the test. I know that sounds crazy. The test is really great if you've never heard a thing about Enneagram, but now all of you have heard a thing about Enneagram, and I would encourage you not to do the test. I would encourage you to grab one of the books that you saw and do it a more organic way. The test, honestly, is just so that you get experience with what the Enneagram is, but it's not a very good tool to figure out what you are. I always test as a 7 or a 4. I am neither of those things. And so when you took the test and it gave you a bunch of different numbers, that's just your invitation to pick up a book. And I know that's really hard, or reach out to Katie, and she's got a really quick, I'm going to run down a few, let me give you some follow-up questions, and we're going to narrow you down. She's really good at it. So
I can do like 2 to 3 questions, and I'm not typing you, because that, guys, I definitely do that.
I'll guess, but I'm not going to tell you
all the time. I'm like, I think I have an idea about this, but if I can ask you like 2 to 3 questions and you are super honest with your answers, I can help you at least narrow it down, and then you can figure out your number. But I'm not going to.
Don't type other people if you can help it, because it's not correct. And because the Enneagram is not technically a personality test. I mean, it is, but what it is a core fear and motivator test. And the person you're typing might be really good at masking. So fear and motivator are the way that you figure out your Enneagram and like how you make decisions. So like for me, where I do test as a 7, because there is a lot of, I don't want negative emotion. I want to keep things light and happy and exciting. I don't do it from the same place as 7 does. I do it from a place of anger and fear. So that's different. I feel like mine's mostly out of a weird place of anger, and it doesn't make any sense, but once you figure out your type, you figure it out. But my motivations are different than a 7's, and that's why it matters, because there's a lot of a 7 that I am, but I am absolutely not a FOMO person. But my motivations are different than Melissa's for some of the things that look the same. So you might realize like a 9 and a 2 test the same a lot, but your motivations are different. My motivations when I look like a 2, my motivation is not at all because I need people to think a certain way about me. It's because I need the peace to be kept, and I need things to be even keeled, and I need everything to be as middly as I can get it. So
really quickly, there is so this is that book, The Road Back to You. It looks like this, so you can get a visual. But there's a book that's, I'll call it a sequel to this, and it has a light green cover. I can share it wherever we need to share things. And it's called The Path Between Us. And it is there's a whole section in the back. I should have brought it. It's in the other room. But it shows numbers that are commonly confused and the differences between them. So if you're like, I'm a 2 or a 9, they have like a section in the back that looks like that, so that you can go, well, am I a 2 or am I a 9? And it is all about how the numbers relate. And a lot of people will ask, like, well, if I'm at this number, should I like not be in a relationship with someone who's at this number? No, every single number can be in a relationship, and it will be in various relationships with every other number, but you're all going to have pitfalls, even if you're the same number, because if you're the same number, you're both going to want to like fight the same way and both want to have it turn out the way you want it to, and that's not going to happen. So regardless, I also would recommend that next book after you read The Road Back to You, because you don't want to know about how all the relationships play with each other until you actually know the basics of those 9 numbers. But that's my next recommendation.
I love it. I'm going to go ahead and throw trivia on. We can still chat while I'm getting this set up. I poked the link into the chat, and I did invite Melissa and Anna to play trivia. If you guys have the time, I would love it. I usually do a little bit of music, but I'm not doing music tonight, so I need all of you not to be quiet. We can just chat and laugh and be silly. I don't want to take the time to pull up music, if that makes sense. So if you've never played trivia before with us, you're going to swipe over into a browser if you only have one device. If you have 2 devices, like some of us, I can tell some of you are on laptops and some of you are on phones. If you're on your laptop, grab your phone and do trivia on your phone. The screen will have the questions on it, but it will be delayed. So just look at your phone to see the screen and what question we're on. At the end of every single question, it's going to let you know your score and your rank. It is based on how fast you answer the question and how accurately you answer the question. So if you are answering all of them right, you got to be faster than Katie. So that's the other trick.
No lies detected.
So, but I think it's really fun when we have our guest speakers play, because like I said earlier, Melissa and Anna are SSDs. So it's kind of like an "Are you smarter than a 5th grader" situation. Can you beat the SSDs in workstation news tab trivia? So
they might have me on that.
Super fun. I am going to tab over and make sure you guys just see the beginning soon screen, right?
Yeah, the QR code.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if I move to this other screen, you still see beginning soon, right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I've got 29 of you in there. Am I waiting 30 of you? Is there anyone that's still trying to get in before I start? This might be our biggest
G9's not participating.
Okay.
Oh, gee.
So
Come on, girl, you already know.
anyone who's not in yet that is trying to get, speak up real quick before I start. Otherwise, we are getting started. And I think I have it on annual.
Christy, go to crowd.live and then it'll ask for the code. Or you can scan the QR code.
We've got 33 in there. And Christy, once you're in, just let me know and I'll hit start. And you guys are welcome to unmute yourself as long as you don't have husbands yelling in the background. And I don't mind the kids. The husbands are always the loud ones.
Not today. How do you know what's going on in my house?
All right, I'm pressing
Christy
play.
said she's in.
All right, 34. That's the most in a while. It's exciting.
How many does it cap you at? I can't remember.
Oh, I have 100 that I can get in here.
Hi, ladies.
All right, there we go.
Woo!
I'm gonna win. No, you're not.
Oh, dang.
Katie's in here. You got Katie. You lost.
How dare you? How dare you?
And if anybody's never played before, there is usually always one question that I get wrong when I'm putting it together. So I apologize if you are like, that was the only one I was getting right. Well, I'm sorry. Sometimes I mess it up.
Are you giving us any free answers this time by accident?
I don't think so. Like the one where it was like, what's the price? And the answer was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that was helpful.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Good job. Good job.
Wrongo.
You know, and I hope any of you who are like,
Still late first.
I'm getting stuff wrong. I hope you realize that this is a learning opportunity. That's why we do this, because I know that not all of us check our workstation all the time. So hopefully anything you get wrong, you're like, well, now I know. Now I know.
Gosh, I don't know the answer to this.
No, I don't either. But
I
I've
just
answered
looked
that.
at these too.
I did
Crap, I
not.
can't remember.
Oh
Oh,
God.
I
Three
thought
that
about
If
it
you
it.
guys don't know the right answer, then that always makes me feel good because I have to make up an answer that sounds a little like Cincy would make it.
Oh, fun.
Like,
I
okay,
really like that you put February.
oh,
Glad,
it's
glad we're
I'm
still in
I
February.
know.
okay. So at least there's my
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that was my
That's
only
what I thought.
mistake. I
Dang,
reused
that
a lot
was
of
a
the
good fake
questions.
one.
I
Oh,
reuse them.
It
and then I
was.
Look
change.
at Smelly
Okay.
Smelly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
no.
always I
Oh,
reuse a lot of
darn.
order.
questions and
Oh
forget
my
to
God,
change
we gotta
them.
reorder them? Oh,
Yep, you have
God.
to reorder them into
Okay.
their launch order.
no, but it's.
Ooh, I don't know.
I have no
Oh,
idea if I got that right.
I'm guessing.
You couldn't just do some like 90s music trivia. Come on, whatever.
You know, we do love some 90s music trivia.
Or TV, or just
And the
whatever.
best part is my phone is
Oh, I
dead.
should've-
Like I literally can't even cheat. So
Oh, yeah, definitely got that wrong.
The
Totally wrong.
wrong again.
the trivia
Yeah.
program just
I was
added
close. but-
AI
got it
generated.
right.
Falling from
ability.
grace, guys. Falling from grace
What's
tonight.
my show? I'm in third place. That's all that matters.
Good job, Naja.
Done.
Yes, girl.
You're welcome.
Nyasha, don't get too comfortable.
Are you and Tiff playing together? Because I feel like that's cheating.
Yeah,
No, she's eating, but I'm getting answers right too. I read the news tab that one time. No, I read it yesterday.
Oh gosh.
Doing better than me, Tiff. Doing better than me.
Hello.
You can always know if Tiffany and Nyasha are on because they're arguing with each other.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you got that right. But I'm always right though.
She's just
there to keep
us in check.
Yeah, yeah. Dawn and Hannah.
Oh, I just answered that wrong.
Christina.
Sorry, it was the
Oh
first
my
one.
world.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was the first one that popped up, and I was like, well, that's obviously the right one.
That is
Clearly.
I went back and forth. I was conflicted. I was like, do I do it? Do I? I just like, we're
Do
just.
it.
doing
Do it.
Sometimes you just have to say screw it and do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm winning. We.
Yeah, I pressed the wrong
Yeah,
one.
right.
Yeah, we is right, you bunch of cheaters.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Oh, Shelly.
Smelly,
Shelly,
stop going
Shelly's
so
crushing
fast.
it.
Doing it.
I kept mocking it, so I
so
hope I got
quiet.
this right.
Good fake answers on this one too, Christina.
What?
I said good fake answers on this
Yeah,
one.
really good fake answers.
Thank you.
Rose in your nose.
I lost the touch, and you'll notice as we go how much worse my answers get, though. The creative juices faded quickly. I'm gonna go to our bedroom.
Yay!
I have
Oh,
to
darn.
plug myself in. I'm dying.
There it is. There's my comeback. Come crawling back to the top 3. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, I just read this out loud to my mom.
I don't know it.
I'm rolling the dice. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So hard.
Not for the faint of heart, this trivia.
No.
It is always
No,
a
when
little
it gets too competitive and then you start hitting things too fast and then you hit the
That's
wrong
what I
answer.
did. Yep, I hit false.
Okay.
got it.
Oh,
Wow.
No, I didn't. Dang.
Oh,
Oh, darn.
Ugh. I'm still number one.
Oof.
Oh my God, what?
Oh no.
Oh, crap.
I like this number.
I was gonna say this one is iffy.
Oh, I have to go plug
So
in.
wrong.
Probably wrong.
Oh, I just made it
And
up.
it's so stressed out right now.
I'm
can't
shocked they're not
even-
selling the lid separately on this one.
I do like that.
Because they want
This is
everybody
the
to buy the
longest
truck.
3 seconds ever.
Well, yeah, but
Okay.
oh yeah, I got it right. Look at that.
Oh, I thought it was 55.
So
Rats.
to that's what I put the first time.
I should think it's a totally amazing value then, because I way overshot it. Gosh.
You're like, well, it's worth.
Oh, I just read this one.
I hope you guys realize my fading creativity on this one.
I like
Although I really liked that one.
Can we name something? Daffodil Dolly?
Right before mom.
You say, can they name something that? See, I could be on the
I
creative.
was off
team
of the
at
screen.
Scentsy.
What
Yeah, I'm convinced that I can write descent note descriptions like a cluster of freesia, frolic, sunflower
Yes.
flies on a sunny
Mhm.
winter morning. Like I could do
Up,
that.
Hannah.
You would buy that. You guys would buy that.
I literally just looked at News Tab today.
Oh
I did
man,
too.
I think so.
Alright.
Ugh.
Wait, is Jen McCool still on here? I can't see who all's on here, but if Jen is still on here, she was posting like a reel, or she did a story with the scent or the names of the bars. And all I could think of was the song from Miss Congeniality, where it's like, and it's none of these words, but it's like, she's beauty and she's crazy. And that's all I could
I don't
think
know
of.
about this one.
Tracy
Oh.
Luke.
Ugh.
Okay.
No, I love it. Now I'm in 5th place. Ugh. I'm stressed out now.
No.
No. Oh crap! I got another
I'm
thing.
so
Oh,
excited
crap.
about this one.
Oh,
crap.
oh,
Where'd it go?
I think that one.
I'm enjoying
I think it's one of those.
on this, Christina.
I love this one. Yeah.
Oh, add it.
Moira
Yeah.
Rose. A
Yes.
new day has dawned.
Picking the
Bold
gifts is
and
my
day.
fun.
internet is being so.
I've been doing that. Mm-hmm. I
love
fall on Barbara every time I do that. Yay!
Yay.
I vibrated this morning. Oh, yay! That's
What was it?
Auto bundling.
Mhm.
Oh my God, really?
Oh, I don't know either.
The fact that you
Darn.
guys think that some of these are actually the name makes me really happy. They were so bad. I thought this one would be like absolutely everyone would get it right because the other things I wrote were so ridiculous.
I'm entertained by your choices though.
I do like them.
I wouldn't have just gone live like 30 minutes ago. I didn't know any of these.
Woo!
She looks like a Dolores.
She does.
It's like a very
Dolores.
name.
She looks like a Dolores.
She does.
Dolores could be neighbor with Lindy, is all I'm saying.
Oh, no.
Oh, I just got that wrong.
I like that one. It's between those two. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I definitely got that one wrong too.
I'm pretty sure I just got that
I'm
wrong.
seeing the questions. I'm seeing the
Because we
questions
all
faster
registered
on the.
already, so we don't
screen.
know.
Yeah, you want to try to do so it's faster on the screen than on your phone.
Yeah, but my internet sucks.
Oh, yay! Told you.
Did you get it right?
Courtney!
Oh, she's climbing. She's climbing. Ooh, just saw that one.
Yep.
This one I do not know.
You don't know this?
I don't know this one.
They just shared the video.
Go.
It's so awesome.
It was really
Yeah,
good.
I saw
Go
the
with
video
your
got
gut.
posted, but I didn't watch it.
Oh.
I was like, I'll watch that later. Forgot about trivia. Dang it.
Oh. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
It took me out of it.
No.
Oh,
No.
ladies, holding on.
I know.
Mine's gone.
Oh gosh.
I'm excited about this one.
I am too.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I have a
I'm gonna
feeling
order,
that
like,
Buddy
3
is gonna go
dogs.
though.
Yeah. I'm gonna get on like 3 a.m. for sure.
So precious too.
I have to order one for me and all 3 of my children.
I am so excited about that, Buddy, because I've tried the weighted
Yeah.
blanket life, but it's too big. I need a
That's too
smaller.
Oh no.
I did not shine, guys. I did not shine.
What's the day?
I need it for the
Nice.
baby.
Third place.
Third place.
Yeah.
Second place. Anna, is it Smelly Shelly?
Oh, Smelly, Shelly, knowing that news tab.
Yay.
Yes,
Way to
girl.
go. Screenshot this and put us in screensaver.
Can't nobody do back, Smelly, Shelly.
I did pretty good for getting kicked out before the last question.
I'm writing things down because you guys know I have to, which I still owe like 3 months of prizes. I love you all. I have a list. You have not been forgotten. I have my list.
We were just excited that last month we found you eventually.
You found me?
Yeah, because that was when you were super late because you had stuff with your kids.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe. I am so grateful that you guys went ahead and did the call anyway, because my stupid brain, oh my gosh, that was like the biggest gift anybody could have ever given me, was what you guys did. I'm so appreciative. So I think a few of you guys posted the first 5 to arrive either in the chat or elsewhere, but
I did.
if you can just message me that list. I think Tabitha sent me an image too. I would love it in both forms, just depending on how my brain feels like perceiving that information. So if you want to send me that list, if you still have it.
Yeah, the only problem is I don't know who iPhone is. Like when I screenshotted it, I wasn't sure who iPhone was.
I'm pretty sure that was Lucy.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure because I think all of us were the first ones on there.
Yeah, right after. Okay. So I think it was Lucy, but
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Compare
So.
lists, and if there's enough overlap, we might end up with 6 or whatever, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's not like they'll get anything anytime soon anyway. So the fact that you guys still show up early to get the first 5 to arrive prize, knowing that it's fictitious, is my favorite thing in the world.
I was gonna say, you could just say the first 5 get a high five, and I would still
I know, I love it.
angling to get
the
number 1.
challenge of achieving. No, I have some stuff. I need to just send it. Well, okay, here's where my paralyzation comes from. All of my first 5 to arrive prizes and all of my winning trivia prizes are the same. And I pre-packed them, like a year's worth of them, but didn't really factor in the fact that most of the time those are the same people. So they would get like all the same stuff. So I'm like, I need to redo these. And that's why I haven't sent anything. So
Enneagram 9 paralysis.
I gotta make sure everyone is happy. So that's me, if anybody ever wonders. So, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming to Jammy Time. Thank you, Melissa and Anna and Katie, for sharing so much. Again, if you guys have questions, please reach out to Katie. I'm not gonna ask you guys to reach out to Melissa and Anna, only because they were just giving us the gift of their time this evening. And Melissa will not respond. No, just kidding. She won't mean to, but you will get your answers quickly.
She'll respond, but it's hardly ever timely.
It'll be like 5 to 7 business days. So I would prefer you guys to keep it in the family, post it on our team page and in the event page, or to Katie, and we will be very happy to help you. And Anna says she'll take all the 4s. And I believe that that's because she wants to protect you from everybody else. She's going to make sure that your 4 heart is taken care of.
I will.
It needs gentle tending. And so, yeah, if you guys want to reach out, Katie Garrett,
my energy to myself then.
Katie Garrett is very excited to help you guys out. And I hope that you guys are encouraged to find out what your number is and to lean into learning more about yourself and to lead better with that information. Again, I am so grateful. Thank you guys so much. And with that, I hope you guys have a great evening. If anybody asks for the recording, it is going to be uploaded. So just let them know it's coming. So
Thanks,
bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.